What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tooned Up on the Renegade Pop Culture Podcast Network. I am your host, Mike. Joining me, as always, is my co-captain, Cameron.
Howdy, howdy, y'all.
And today, we have a lot to discuss. Not so much in the review section, but we're catching up on a lot of news, plus reviews for the Dorohedoro OVA that was just released on Netflix, the Fungies second half of season 1, and the series finale, Kipo and the Age of Wonderbeasts.
That is so weird.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But first, Cameron, let's go around the world of animation and talk about this news.
Alrighty, we got a lot to talk about, and that includes not just the animation news we're catching up on, but we'll also be talking about the New York Comic-Con news. So, first up, Max Keane, the son of Glenn Keane, whose new movie Over the Moon comes out next week, and we'll be talking about that for the next episode, so stay tuned. But anyway, Max Keane's storybook, Trash Truck, is getting a preschool series for Netflix that's coming out next month, and here's the synopsis. Hank is a free-range, dirt-covered 6-year-old boy with a big imagination and an even bigger best pal. A giant honking, snorting trash truck. From learning to fly to going to the dentist, there is no adventure too big or too small for these two best friends. So the voice cast will include Brian Baumgartner from The Office. You might know him as the guy who spills the chili. As Walter. Glenn Keane will be Grandpa and Trash Truck. Max Keane will voice the dad. Henry Keane will be Hank. Megan Keane, I guess the whole Keane family's on this. I love it. Will be the mom. Olive Keane as, well, Olive. Lucas Neff as Donnie, and Jackie Loeb as Miss Mona. And yeah, next month, man. It's cute. I don't know if we'll be tackling it because we're trying to stay away from preschool stuff because it's not for us. It's not aimed at our interests. It's for little kids.
Unless I still might check it out only because of the Keane family, but we will. It's low priority for us in terms of our slate.
Yeah, but it looks cute. Yeah, I mean, like I'll definitely check it out. Just for the curiosity of it all. So WB has another animated movie in the works, and they found its director, Alex Timbers, who will be directing the adaptation of Toto, the doggone amazing story of The Wizard of Oz, which is, from what I can tell, told through the eyes of Toto. Interesting news and an interesting book. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm unfamiliar with the book, so maybe it's a better book than how it sounds. But what do you have for quick thoughts?
I'm interested in WB doing another sort of Wizard of Oz adjacent adaptation, as opposed to, I don't know if you noticed this, but of all like the Frank Baum like Oz books, only 2 of them have been adapted, and even then they're really loose adaptations. Like we all know the classic 1939 film.
Oh yeah.
Who knows how faithful it is to the actual book?
Yeah, and that's just a great movie, just one of the all-time classics.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, if Alex Timbers sounds familiar, he's the guy who directed the Moulin Rouge musical, and he also was helping out Beetlejuice on Broadway as well. So
in other words, I think this project is in good hands.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to see what happens and how a Broadway person comes into the world of animation.
I mean, that's happened already before, you know.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, it escapes my mind sometimes how many people come into animation and then don't have much animation experience with them, but we'll have to see. So Disney Channel has greenlit a new Dan Povenmire pitch for a show called Hamster and Gretel. If his name sounds familiar, you know him as Phineas and Ferb creator. And Mike, what was the other show he worked on?
Milo Murphy's Law.
Yeah, Milo Murphy's Law, aka the show with Weird Al as the main character. So I'm kind of curious about this show. Like, it looks cute. I like the title, and due to the creator behind it, I'm probably going to check it out. I'm just worried that the fan base is just going to ignore this one because that's what they did with Milo Murphy's Law.
How dare you ignore a show with Weird Al as the main character?
Seriously, I get that Phineas and Ferb was amazing, apparently. I haven't seen it, but if you're a fan of the guy's work, you support and watch his other work as well, because otherwise he's going to not have that, like, get that many. I don't know. Fan bases like this bug me because it's like they call themselves fans of the guy's work and then they don't support the other work. But we'll have to see. It sounds cute. It's let's see. The musical filled Hamster and Gretel introduces Kevin and younger sister Gretel, who are about to be bestowed superpowers by space aliens. But something goes awry, and it's Gretel and her pet hamster, named Hamster, who suddenly have new abilities. Now, protective older brother Kevin must figure out how to work with both Gretel and her pet hamster to protect their city from mysterious dangers. See, that sounds kind of funny. I don't know.
Yeah, I really like the sound of this.
Yeah. And the he and his team have such fun talent and like good writing and such. Please support it. Come on, people. So next up, Netflix is going to bring a trio of animated shorts to streaming. These include If Anything Happens, I Love You. Let's see. Canvas and let's see.
Cops and Robbers.
Yeah, Cops and Robbers. And this sounds promising. It sounds like they want to pull a Spark shorts from Pixar and Disney by making exclusive shorts for the service. And hey, I'm all for that. They got a lot of interesting people behind some of these shorts and a lot of inclusiveness. So no matter the criticisms aimed at how Netflix runs their streaming service and what gets greenlit, renewed, and canceled, they do a lot of good stuff with animation. They're taking it seriously because, they just opened a huge building just for their animation stuff. So they take this seriously.
I think that detail is something that I'm really excited about, that they're going all in when it comes to animation, from these shorts to all their collaborations with DreamWorks, with Warner Animation, with their Green Eggs and Ham show, which I will still recommend to anyone who doubts WB's handling of the Dr. Seuss library.
Yeah.
But yeah, these shorts all sound amazing, and I love the people who are involved. Like Laura Dern is executive producing If Anything Happens, I Love You. And just like the premises of Canvas and Cops and Robbers sound very timely, to say the least.
Yeah. And I love the visual image of Cops and Robbers, the one where it's like half 2D, like part real life and such.
Oh yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, and Canvas looks great, and If Anything Happens, I Love You. That looks dark, but I'm sure that's a point, of course. So so I'm looking forward to it. The Paw Patrol movie, based off the super popular kids show, has a voice cast, and it's as celebrity studded as you would think it is. The cast includes Kim Kardashian, Dax Shepard, Jimmy Kimmel, Tyler Perry, Yara Shahidi, Randall Park, Ian Armitage, Marcy Martin, and Will Brisbane. Not much else to say. We don't watch Paw Patrol. I just know it's super popular. I know my niece just loves it. And kind of interesting to see Kim Kardashian on there. Like, I'm sure a lot of these people are doing it for their kids, which, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you hear that all the time in interviews. Like when they sign on to a project that they may or may not care about outside of the fact that they have kids, they want to be involved in something that they can watch.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
Yeah, no, and nothing wrong with doing something for your kids. I mean, yeah, granted, I probably want to see some of these people in like a Pixar or Disney movie more than a Paw Patrol film, but it's popular. I'm not surprised it's getting a movie. We'll just have to see what happens. It's planned to be released next year in August 2021. We'll just have to see how things play out and whatnot.
The one question I have though is, like, I'm looking at these credits on IMDb, and I have no idea if they had celebrities voicing just like all the ancillary characters, while the main voice actors are playing the main cast.
Oh yeah, that's weird. It kind of reminds me of the marketing for that My Little Pony the movie film that came out 3 years ago or so, because that was a problem with the first trailer. It showed off all the celebrities that they got, and then that got a lot of backlash because the voice actors are the reason they watch the show. Kids don't care about celebrities. The celebrities are there for the adults. And but then they showed the official poster, and it had all the voice actors like Tara Strong and whatnot up front and center. So it's like, good. Same with like the Teen Titans Go to the Movies credits. Like they put the voice actors first and not the Christian Bale and Will Arnett and whatnot. So we'll have to see. Speaking of Paramount and Nickelodeon, we got our first look at everyone's most anticipated spinoff coming to Paramount Plus, aka CBS All Access. We have the first image of Camp Coral, the SpongeBob prequel spinoff.
Yay!
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We're probably not going to watch it. I don't care if this is like this falls into continuity. I don't know why people care about continuity with SpongeBob unless it really matters that much in the overall show and whatnot. But I get it. Steve Hillenburg did not want spin-offs and whatnot, and they waited until he died. And that sucks. It's super cynical. But I don't know. I guess to me, I'm trying to save my energy to be mad at stuff that's worth getting mad at.
Yeah, all things considered, this is like literally nothing to get upset about. That being said, I find something else more fascinating. There's an image going around of like Next Gen Nick, which also has the first images of the Rugrats reboot.
Yeah. And
those character designs translate really well into 3D.
Yeah, it's not like this show's going to be like a new long running thing, or at least so far it's not. Because it's only going to have 13 episodes. But SpongeBob is translated really well to CGI. It's not like it's going to go into that kind of weird half-baked version like the Alvin and the Chipmunks CGI show and whatnot.
Yeah, no, this looks much better than that.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm looking at the image and I see Plankton as the obvious cook and whatnot. It kind of makes me think of that comedy Wet Hot American Summer,
Oh
and
yeah.
with he kind of reminds me of Christopher Maloney's character, who was the chef who had a can of talking beans, or a talking can of beans, and who was voiced by the guy who voices Bob in Bob's Burgers and Archer and whatnot.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Oh, it was super funny. Sorry. Honestly, there's not much to talk about with this Camp Coral thing. It's going to show up on there, and honestly, I'm more mad that Paramount hasn't given the rest of the world the Sponge on a Run movie, because it's like, come on. Nothing else is coming out. Put it on demand. It will make money. It's SpongeBob. Like, SpongeBob wouldn't be around if it still wasn't a giant juggernaut in franchise and merchandise. But I don't want to take up any more of our time with talking about Sponge on a Run until we actually get a release date.
Yeah. One more thing though about Camp Coral. This is premiering on CBS All Access. So I guess eventually I'll have to get the service, but
honestly, there's just not a whole lot of like to offer with that service, and we will be talking about Star Trek Lower Decks maybe in November as a catch-up episode alongside like Duncanville and a few other shows we need to watch. But it's just, I'm not impressed by Star Trek Lower Decks, and they need to have more than just that. And honestly, I'm more annoyed by the whole news story that they might do a Patrick Star spinoff than a Camp Coral. Like, that's more annoying to me. But enough about that. Shannon Tyndall and Peter Ramsey will be adapting William Joyce's Ollie's Odyssey for Netflix. And it's based off of Lost Ollie. It's the story of a lost toy searching across the countryside for the boy who lost him, and the story of the boy who lost more than a best friend. It's a sounds like a miniseries because they're going to have 4 45-minute episodes. Well, first of all, the talent attached is great. So,
oh yeah,
Shannon Tyndall worked on Kubo and the Two Strings and Coraline, and of course, Peter Ramsey. Well, Rise of the Guardians and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm excited. I liked seeing animated miniseries, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, this sounds great just based off the talent alone. And it's you said 4 45-minute episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that will give us a lot to chew on.
Man, it's been in the work for 4 years. Wow. Yeah, that's it for that. But more awesome HBO Max cartoon news. Noelle Stevenson, the co-creator of the Lumberjanes, is adapting the show into a cartoon series for HBO Max. This sounds great.
Oh yeah.
And no release date, but the story is the Lumberjanes tells of 5 friends: April, Joe, Mal, Molly, and Ripley, who meet one fateful summer at a camp named Miss Quinzella Thisquin Peniquill Quickquill Thistle Crumpets Camp for Hardcore Lady Types. I love that. I love that title. Mouthful, but I love it. Their differences aren't the only thing they have to canoe around, as the girls soon discover there are mysterious and supernatural forces afoot. This sounds great. I want to watch it.
Yeah.
And I know some people are mad that there was supposed to be a live action adaptation from Fox before the whole Disney acquisition, and then Disney canned it. I'm sorry, I don't care. I think an animated series would serve this better, because there are over 70 issues and 13 graphic novels. I don't think a movie would do this setting justice. It's not going to get treated well with live action. I don't know. But yeah, any other thoughts before we move on?
I just think it's really cool how Noel Stevenson's career is coming full circle. So this Lumberjanes, to my knowledge, um, came out um, came out in 2014. So this was like 4 years before She-Ra on Netflix, and before that she also worked as a writer on Disney's Wander Over Yonder.
Good
And
show.
now after She-Ra ended, she gets to come back to her own creation and turn that into an animated series. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, good job for her, man. Like, awesome. Speaking of awesome people, Jorge Gutierrez, the director of The Book of Life, the creator of El Tigre, character designer for Mucha Lucha, and the upcoming Netflix original series or limited series, Maya and the Three, a Mesoamerican fantasy epic coming out next year, has signed an overall deal in partnership with Netflix. Again, say what you will about Netflix, they're going all in on the animation front, and I love this guy. He has such a wickedly awesome uh, art style, and he's such a nice guy. Like, I feel like this is a guy I would know and want to hang out with. But yeah, you know what? Good on him. That's good. That's huge news. For him to get this big of a deal with Netflix. So it sounds like Maya and the Three is turning out to be what sounds like a pretty good project.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
like this couldn't have happened to a better filmmaker.
Yeah, and I know there was like that inevitable battle between Book of Life and Coco, but here's a hot take: both are great movies,
Yep.
and you don't need to put one down to raise the other up. They're both great movies, so let's just get past that. Uh, Speaking of um, Netflix, the Blue Eye Samurai is just a new project for Netflix from Michael Green and Amber Noizumi, has a voice cast that includes Maya Erskine, George Takei, and Masaoka. And they will serve as writers, executive producers, and showrunners, while Jane Wu, who worked on Men in Black the series, Jackie Chan Adventures, The Big Guy, and Rusty the Boy Robot, will serve as supervising director and a producer, along with Erwin Stoff of Edge of Tomorrow, 13 Hours, Call of the Wild, will be a non-writing executive producer. This sounds like a great. The rest of the voice cast includes Randall Park, Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa, Brenda Song, and Darren Barnett. That sounds. That's a great lineup of talent, just all around, on
Oh
and
yeah.
off the screen. And if it has George Takei, I gotta watch it. um, but man, Netflix, slow down a little. I'm going to have trouble keeping track of all this. Oh, and before we move on to this next final bit, there's some news that I forgot to bring up about a new animation studio called Spire, which is being founded by Brad Lewis, who worked on DreamWorks and Pixar films. I mean, first of all, good job for a new studio being founded. I think that's going to be great. And
We definitely need to see more new studios popping up.
yeah, it helps because there just needs a healthy animation environment means that there needs to be multiple studios. And they already have a project in the works called Century Goddess, and it's about a goddess who leads a revolution in a dictatorship where artists are suppressed. Maybe a little on the nose about
Just a little bit.
But sound that's awesome. I hope everything works out, and I hope the project turns out well. Can't wait to see what it looks like and whatnot. But for some super awesome news for Sony Pictures Animation, Matthew Cherry, the director of the Oscar-nominated and won winner Hair Love, and working on that new HBO Max series, I forgot what it was called, but God, I feel terrible for saying that. Young Love.
Yep.
And we'll be working on a feature film for the company called Tut about a young, King Tut. So it's an Afro-futuristic coming-of-age story of the boy King Tutankhamun. So, man,
Yeah, the full name is really hard to pronounce.
But besides that, good on Matthew Cherry, man. I love him. Sweet guy, lots of talent. Like, I can't wait. So, and hopefully this means people will just lay off of Sony Pictures Animation. They have made some pretty great stuff, and yet people are still going to egg on them for the Emoji Movie. So, which wasn't even the worst animated movie of 2017. Guardian Brothers.
Hell no, not even by a long shot.
Guardian Brothers was a worst animated film, and that's because it was chopped up by Satan himself, Harvey Weinstein. So, anyway,
I think in the next Sony Animation needs 3 hits in a row to completely wash the taste of Emoji Movie out of people's mouths. But honestly, after Into the Spider-Verse, that should have already been the case.
And the Angry Birds movie too was just funny, man. I still love that movie.
Same.
Even though I agree with all the story complaints. And then of course Connected, and I hope that's still coming out this year. Please put it on demand, Sony, or just delay it to January. We want to see it, but we're not going to a theater. It's not like theaters are going to reopen up anytime soon anyway. But Connected looks amazing. I still have the art book on pre-order, so Sony Pictures is going places that I think Disney and DreamWorks and to an extent Pixar are probably not going to go, but hopefully they will, because moving forward is the best thing animation studios can do.
Exactly.
So, I got all the news out of the way. We are not going to have one left behind. But we will now have to talk about the New York Comic-Con animation news.
And there's a lot of goodies. I'll start off with kind of continuing things that we talked about on the last episode of Capes. We have our first look at Marvel and Hulu's MODOK animated series, which is it's like a stop motion kind of in the style of Robot Chicken, but
it's by the Robot Chicken guys. So
and Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, well, it's co-created by Patton Oswalt and Jordan Bloom. So first off, I'm so happy to see a stop motion thing with Marvel, because it's like I'm not fully fond of the animated stuff that they've made. Like, as much as I give flack to the DC animated stuff, at least I love that. I like a lot more of that stuff than the stuff Marvel puts out in the animation front. And
it kind of feels like Marvel's not really trying when it comes to animation. They do it more out of obligation than anything else.
Yeah, and it's not like they can't do anything. I know that Heroes Rising show has gotten good reviews, and I really love that early 2010s Marvel Avengers with that really awesome just rockin' theme song.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah, and that was a great show. I'm so bummed that they canned that one to put out the one that they have right now. I've watched that show. It's so generic and kind of loses its identity, which the other one had in spades. So, but yeah, I love Patton Oswalt. He's one of my favorite comedians, and I love that he plays MODOK. It's kind of perfect casting for the kind of character MODOK is.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I said this last week, but if John Schnepp were around, he would have loved the series, because I know he was one of the biggest MODOK fans out of like anyone.
Yeah, and from the premise of just like him dealing with a failing company, or his failing company, and then family life, and that he has a teenage daughter that's in the full MODOK motif. Don't know how that worked, but maybe they won't tell us how that works. But I also love the voice cast with like Ben Schwartz and like really big, a good cast.
Something that I love is I'm reading on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Ben Schwartz's character wears a blue sweatshirt as a nod to Schwartz voicing characters associated with that color. You know, he's Donatello in Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's of course Dewey on DuckTales, and he voiced Sonic in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, that's funny. And Amy Garcia from let me see, is going to play his wife, and then Melissa Fumero from Brooklyn Nine-Nine is going to play the daughter, and she's great if you've seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And a lot of good talent also with Wendy McLendon Covey and Beck Bennett and John Daly and Sam Richardson. And from just like a first impression off the clip I saw, it looks funny. It looks like it has a little more energy to it than the other Robot Chicken stuff or the Stupid Buddy Studios work. I love that little sequence when he hears the doorbell and he's like, I hope it's my favorite mailman. And then just like when his work rival brings in that horrible mutilated monstrosity. And then it's like, oh gosh, it's peeing what I thought was its mouth. And, and then the whole like 3 million on the hover bikes, 40 million on the airship, and then 80 million to put price tags on in the program. It looks great. I think it'll be fun. It'll definitely be better than Crossing Swords. That I'm sorry. I know people worked hard on Crossing Swords. I just did not like it. But yeah, what else do we have, Mike? Would you like to get some zany stuff out of the way first?
We'll save that. I think we'll save that for last because I want to continue talking about Invincible. This is another one we brought up last week as well. So Invincible is based off a Robert Kirkman comic, and this is going to Amazon Studios, and the trailer honestly looks a little bit rough because it's it's still just like a first look, but oh my god, this cast is amazing. You have Stephen Young, who plays the main character, Mark Grayson. J.K. Simmons plays his father.
I love me some J.K. Simmons.
And then you have Sandra Oh as who I assume is like either the mother or like a sister, Debbie Grayson. Then you have Mark Hamill.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, Seth Rogen plays Alien the Alien. You have Jillian Jacobs, Andrew Rannells, Zazie Beetz, Walton Goggins, our favorite comedian Jason Mantzoukas.
Woo!
Mae Whitman. Chris Diamantopoulos. Carrie Payton, Zachary Quinto, Melise Zhao, Kevin Michael Richardson, Grey Griffin, and I could keep going, but you get the idea.
That's a huge cast. Like, I think that sounds great to me. It looked interesting. Yeah, the first impression was a little rough. Especially when the transition of flying around in space looked a little clunky. But I think it's going to be that's a good cast, and I'm looking forward to it. I kind of thought Amazon gave up on animation, to be frank, because they're like mostly focusing on the live action, and then of course the huge Lord of the Rings thing that they're working on.
I don't blame you for thinking that, because nobody really talks about their animated content. What little of it they have.
Yeah, and I've heard some good things about a few of the shows. And then, of course, anime-wise, they brought over Vinland Saga and the Dororo adaptation. And I loved that. I love that one. So it's like, it's weird. They're kind of in a weird spot content-wise because they really like their movies and live-action stuff, but they just don't care about animation as much. So hopefully this will help. And it's probably in good company since they're probably wanting to get the boys audience.
Oh, I think that's exactly why they're adapting this one because, speaking of Seth Rogen, he and Evan Goldberg were trying to get a live action adaptation of Invincible off the ground for years, and I think it's because of the success of The Boys that Amazon took interest in the property.
I haven't seen The Boys yet, but from everything I've heard, it sounds like a show I'd like. So,
oh yeah,
I just have to find time to watch it on top of everything else, and maybe show it to my family since they're not big on like very traditional superhero stuff. So I think they might like this one. They kind of like the more offbeat stuff I show them from time to time. And one of the announcements that I'm excited about, Hilda season 2 is coming out in December 2020, and Hilda has been one of Netflix's best animated shows, and it's so charming and low key and whimsical. It's like a more low key Adventure Time, and it's so good. Like we'll definitely like when the second season releases, we'll definitely talk about Hilda.
Yeah, because I feel bad for like I kind of missing out on Hilda, but you know there's only so many hours of the day. But I'm excited to give it a shot once season 2 rolls around.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it. Now, I guess since it's that time of the year, some supernatural things are happening, and we have The Ghost and Molly McGee, which we got a first preview of, and the clip that I saw and the animatic for the intro, it looks great. This looks like it's going to be one of my favorite shows of next year, just on the premise, on the cast, and just the energy that it gives off alone in that clip and then the animatic. Man, I watched that animatic intro maybe a little too many times, like an unhealthy amount.
It's a great opening to the series, but I love the line delivery of Dana Snyder at the end of the first look.
Yeah, just
it bothers me.
And just like, or like when he gets sucked out of the bath and into the room, and he's like freaks out like he's naked, and she's like, "You're not naked." He's like, "I am emotionally naked right now." Dana Snyder is so good.
Molly McGee, voiced by Ashley Birch, an optimistic tween who lives to make the world a better place, and a grumpy, deep-voiced ghost named Scratch, voiced by Dana Snyder, whose joy comes from spreading misery. When one of his spells backfires, Scratch finds himself forever cursed to be in Molly's presence. So it kind of sounds like the monkey paws, like the monkey's paw version of the Fairly Odd Parents, where he's kind of forced to be Molly's companion forever.
Yeah, her best friend. It actually reminds me of the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, except no limbo game and whatnot. And it kind of has that vibe. Not as dark and twisted as Billy and Mandy, but still has like the visuals and whatnot. It looks cute and whatnot, but it's probably gonna go ham on some great visual gags and whatnot. And I love the like. It's like you're popular in your world, right? Oh yes, I'm one of the most popular. Yeah, obviously. If there's a list of popular people, I was on there, and it shows him getting kicked out of a club, saying like, and Dana Snyder is so good. I love him. Everyone might know him as Master Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, the alchemist from Venture Brothers, and the food stall character from Chowder. And he pops up everywhere else, like in that Justice League action show. He played Plastic Man, and just wrap your head around that. Dana Snyder, aka Master Shake, as Plastic Man. Man, this show looks great. Disney is on such a winning streak with their animated shows. Like, they're instantly going to get my attention no matter like what happens or like when they come out.
Same. Like after this year, like getting to experience all of their like newer slate of shows, I'm all in on this one.
Yeah. But I guess we can't ignore it anymore, man. We got to talk about some Animaniacs.
Yeah, I wanted to save this one for last because Animaniacs is something special for me.
Same here.
Like tied for first place with Batman the Animated Series. This is the crown jewel for me. It's the show I will go back to quite often, and they chose the perfect like first look to present at New York Comic Con with a nice parody of Jurassic Park.
Oh gosh, that clip is so funny, and it reminds me of the Looney Tunes show for HBO Max. Honestly,
it does. It has like a similar. Like we all know that it's digital animation, but it like just an aesthetic wise, they like mimic like traditional cell animation to such a great degree.
And it's all the little touches in that clip, all the execution stuff for the parody to work, like with Sam Neill's character taking off his glasses super awkwardly. And then the whole scene where you see Jeff Goldblum in the back and he puts his hand on the Jeep driver and then the Jeep driver just pushes his hand off. Like, and yeah, you don't see the Warner siblings don't talk a whole lot, but that first scene where you see him gallivanting through the field, it's like perfect. And I know a lot of people got worried when the showrunners were like one of them worked on Family Guy and whatnot. It's come to my attention that it's like you kind of have to push that thought to the side because Family Guy is just so in its way right now. Like, I don't blame anyone who can't really make that show work anymore. And here it's like you could tell that they really love this show just from that one clip. It has all the energy that you could want from an Animaniacs reboot, and it's just funny. It was just so funny, and I don't know if they got Spielberg to cameo as himself or not.
It was really hard to tell because if it was him, then it's always just fun to see him popping up in Animaniacs and Tiny Toons. But if it wasn't him, then that is a great impressionist.
Yeah, and I think they actually got Sam Neill and Laura Dern as their characters from Jurassic Park. And I mean, there's just not much else to say. That one clip and then just like everyone sounding like they had a great time working on it. Because this is a special show. This is one of those like shows that if you're going to readapt it, continue it, reboot it, remake it, what have you, you have to be careful. Like really, really, really careful. Because if you do not make this show work, you are just going to get the hate storm of a century. I mean, that's what happened with the Powerpuff Girls reboots. And yeah, so and I know it kind of went around the net that in one of the Facebook animation groups, the original creator of the show blasted the show and the people working on it because, you know, apparently they weren't told exactly that they were doing this. And what do you think? Like, do you think they have a right to be mad, or do you think it's just kind of like let's see how the show goes and whatnot?
I'll say this. I sympathize with the original creators for feeling left out, that they weren't involved in bringing the this revival to life. However, at least they have the voice cast back together. So even if this show is terrible, or like may not live quite up to the standards of the original, at least having the original voice cast there will do enough to it'll make the show feel watchable at the very least.
I don't think they would have signed on if this didn't have promise.
See, exactly. That's why I put my faith in the new showrunners. And if you watch the Comic-Con panel and you got to like actually hear them talk about the show, it will help. It'll help you get more excited.
Yeah, and I don't want people to be like, well, they're just being nice because it's a job. It's like, come on, people. If being nice is such a task for you, you're probably not that great of a person. But I can't wait. It looks great. I hope it's great. I mean, Animaniacs was kind of ahead of its time in terms of comedy.
Definitely.
So it's going to be interesting to see how well it fits into the current world of animation. Like, I think it'll probably fit perfectly in, but I mean, but people need to remember, even back then, for shows like Batman the Animated Series and Animaniacs, excuse me, they still had to go by limitations and regulations and whatnot. Now that they're on Hulu, they could probably go as far as they want to, and so I'm looking forward to it. I think it deserves all the support. It to at least wait for it to release and whatnot, you know. Are there any other stuff you want to talk about, or should we just head on into everything else?
I think I'm ready to get on with the review section.
Alrighty, I think let's do it then. So we're going to talk about first the Dorohedoro OVA, and for some context, these were 5-minute shorts that were made for the Blu-ray release in Japan. Netflix has translated them and combined them into one 30-minute OVA. Because it was never meant to be like an extra episode. They were just like little side stories that had basically the budget just to do really nice animatics and to tell like little side stories, like how Nikaido started her gyoza shop, or like another story between the two cleaners that work for Ian, or like where Kaiman got his love for gyoza, and then like what makes gyoza so delicious with the gyoza fairy. I'm a little bummed it's not a new season, but Studio Mappa is super busy right now. They have Jujutsu Kaisen and the Gymnastic Samurai right now, so we're probably not going to get a second season until like maybe next year.
Yeah, the show kind of looks expensive in terms of its like character designs, so I don't mind waiting for a second season, especially if the studio is busy working on other stuff.
Yeah, and I'll talk a little bit more about the Jujutsu Kaisen later for recommendations, but it's a good show. And I know a lot of people gave Dorohedoro flack because of the whole it's CGI, why isn't it 2D? this show and world is and the visuals are way too detailed to make just pure 2D. I think if they went the 2D route, they would have ended up with a Baki look, and Baki is just a whole hot mess of a visual look. So, and it probably should have went. It was smart for the show to go CGI route.
Yeah, I think the combination of CG and 2D animation make the world look very unique.
Yeah, and in terms of just overall like little extras, I thought the Dorohedoro OVA was pretty cute. I enjoyed the little stories.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add. These stories were nice. I think my favorite was the one with Kaiman and Nikaido, and how they made their
Gyoza.
yeah.
Yeah, that was very cute. I kind of liked them all. I love the Gyoza fairy episode, and I thought it was just a laugh riot when they're just like, yes, you are enjoying it how they should. Do not watch TV or let them cool down. And then he would throw like little toothpicks at people, and then it was just cute. And like I said, the animation's not really all there. It's like I said, just kind of super fancy animatics. So it's, of course, everything looks a little stiff, but it's the posing and expressions of everyone makes up for that fact. You can get away with clunkier animation if the posing and expressions are spot on. And due to the weird world of Dorohedoro, it all mixes well. And I also like the one where Shin remembers the whole ritualistic mask dance. I mean, like, yes, if I didn't know all the information about this OVA already, I would have been super disappointed. But due to how much I just love the characters and just the chemistry between everyone, I was just happy to be back in the world of Dorohedoro.
Same. This is one of those series where, like, if we're not as busy with content, I would definitely go back and rewatch the first season because of how different and unique it was.
Yeah, it's just such a good series, and we haven't really decided if we're going to add the anime we've watched to our like worst to best list of cartoons for 2020. We might, just for the sake of this year, since we started late on talking about anime. But I think Dorohedoro would be kind of fighting with Kipo as like the best cartoon that I've seen this year.
Speaking of which, how funny is it that this is the second episode where we've combined Dorohedoro and Kipo?
Yeah, it's so funny. It just happened. It just happens. And but yeah, if you want just a little more extra joy from the world of Dorohedoro, definitely watch the OVA. But you're not missing much. But I'd say watch it.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's a nice appetizer while you wait for season 2.
Yeah, but now we'll move on ahead with the second half of the first season of the Fungies. One of the surprise hits, for at least for us, of HBO Max and Cartoon Network for 2020. So I think we both have talked to each other about this. We think the second half is miles better than the first half. And that's not a bad thing. The first half was really funny and really amusing and entertaining. It's just now it's hit its stride.
Yeah, I think the second half of the first season is when we start to get some of the stronger episodes. And to be clear, we still both really enjoyed the first half, but I have more of my favorite episodes from season 1B, and not just because we get to see more of Commander Beefy.
Yeah, no, I think the stories are better this time around. And they are, I mean, some of them are a little like goofy and wacky and whatnot. But I think like there's definitely like a little more to them substance wise. And like, so we have like 20 new episodes, and we get it. They branch out the world a little more. We get some more times with Seth, like hanging out with not just Pascal. He ends up with like a bunch of other characters that would otherwise be kind of grouped in with everyone else. And then we get introduced to like Commander Beefy, who is like the best character of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and like his friends, like the zookeeper, who's voiced by John DiMaggio. And then it's like a lot more touching. I mean, like, okay, let's start with like what was like one of the first things you noticed, like in terms of change and improvements over.
I don't know if it's
the
necessarily an improvement, but I've noticed that Nancy, the mother of Seth and Pascal and the twins, like Nancy gets more screen time, and I didn't realize she was voiced by Jennifer Coolidge. That's kind of great.
Yeah, no, she does a great job as the mom. And Chris Diamantopoulos, as Commander Beefy, is great. And I have to say, I think one of my favorite episodes is, let's see, where is it? Commander Laser, where we get introduced to Beefy's sister, Commander Laser, who's voiced by Tig Notaro. And I think this one might be my favorite episode, just because it hits a story beat that hits really close to me, because I have a twin sister, and there were moments where it's like, and like she's an artist and she's gotten her artwork shown around Austin, where I live. And there were points like before or now where I've kind of felt like Commander Beefy, kind of unaccomplished, very down. And it was just a really touching episode. And I love that we get to watch shows like this, that like, as weird and absurd as Fungies is, it has human elements to it.
Yeah, something I said on Twitter that the creator even responded to. I pointed out the show's balance between entertainment and education, because maybe I was a little bit more attentive watching these episodes, but I really noticed that this show would fit in perfectly with shows in from the 80s and 90s. Like we the last time we talked about the show, we talked about influence of the store, like the Smurfs, the Snorks, other shows of that caliber.
Yeah, and I just like that they take these absurd premises and then adds like a really cool little moral. And like you said in your little Facebook comments, they don't hit you over the head with the moral, which I think was kind of the issue with Tig and Seek, even if that show is kind of trolling that whole story beat. Like, for example, I like the Dino Club episode where everybody becomes dinosaurs. It's like, it is about like they get to do what they want as dinosaurs, but then it's like Pam comes in and says like, hey, I know you like doing what I do, but I do it to survive and other means and such. So it's like, and that they just kind of realize like, oh, we're just being punks. There's like a lot of good stuff like that. Like Treehouse deals with Sir Stump, or what's his name?
Sir Tree.
Yeah, Sir Tree. Feels abandoned and alone because he's stuck up at the the gorge where the Fungies live, and he also has to stay there because his roots hold everything together. And but I also like that they kind of like reintroduce characters, like they bring back the crabs from the beach episode.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that episode until they showed up again.
Yeah, and then I also dug the Pam Runs Forever episode where they bring in a like a mix of Usain Bolt and a Japanese superhero named Insane Jolt, who's voiced by the guy who created OKKO, by the way. And like, that's another thing. I think the voice cast, like, I like the little additions to the voice cast. Like in Fungopolis, the last remaining citizen of Fungopolis is voiced by Brian Doyle Murray, who is Bill Murray's brother. And you would know him as Captain Knuckles from The Misadventures of Flapjack, and he was like the mayor in Groundhog Day.
Oh yeah,
and like Our Fun Radio.
I think that might be my favorite episode.
Oh gosh, I loved all the little story sections that they would do for the radio station. I would listen to Pam Asks Why. Like
it really cut to the truth.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite bit, where she just keeps asking the guy and the guy gets pressured and freaks out. And she's like, why? I don't know, man. Why? I don't know. And then one of the Fungies in the diner is like, they really get to the truth. And by the way, I think Neville is a little more thirsty for lemon in these second batch of episodes than in the first one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell whether or not they're like actually a couple or they're just madly in love with each other.
Yeah, or they're just like super close, like platonic friends, which, hey, that wouldn't be a bad thing to do either. But though I wouldn't be shocked if they were a couple, because we live in an age post Gravity Falls and Adventure Time. We can let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of my other favorite episodes, just in terms of tone and absurdity, is Nancy's fireman calendar, because it finally makes fun of those fireman calendars where, of course, it's like, these are the brave firemen who work hard to prevent forest fires, but they also are like super jacked.
Yep.
And seeing like all the shapes and sizes and whatnot of them, like there's just a lot to like about this.
Another one of my favorite episodes is Long Legs, where everyone is basically fighting. It's a fight for power, but the power is legs.
Got legs for days, man. And yeah, and like I said, it's like Seth gets with the mayor's daughter and the reporter's daughter this time, and I say that like phrasing. No, like I said, Seth hangs out with like more than just Pascal and whatnot. Like sometimes he'll get paired up with like Neville and Lemon, and that one with the horns, like when they go to Fungopolis, and or then like the Where's Coach episode. He gets paired up with like the sports savvy fungi kid. So yeah. No, it's just like I just love the world that they keep building upon in this show, and it's starting to hit its stride a little faster than I think most shows were doing back then. And I like that. It kind of knows what it wants to be, like right here, right now. And like, do you have any other favorite episodes?
I'm trying to think, because all of them have something unique about them. I'll mention two more. Lil Lemon for President, I think, is timely because we're like a few weeks away from the election, but I also think like this is just a great episode to introduce like young audiences to like the basics of politics and what it takes to run a successful campaign.
Even though Lemon and the mayor's daughter lose out to a motorcycle in the end.
that gag killed me.
Yeah, and I love the gag when it's like, tell the press that I got myself a motorcycle. Why, yes, I'm going through a midlife crisis. I love that the mayor's daughter is basically doing half of the things that she does just to screw with him. Like she's just kind of a troll. And again, the show has such witty writing. Like I love the Fungi Scouts episode where Seth is like, hey everyone, thanks for coming. It says it's a great lineup. Well, you did send us cards that said join or die. That's a big dramatic Seth. Oh god, man, Stephen P. Neary has just made a wildly charming show.
He has. I forgot my other favorite episode is Low Clawley Caper, which is
Oh yeah.
basically their version of a whodunit.
Oh yeah, and the Lord Clawley is voiced by Phil Lamar, by the way.
Oh, that's who Philomar plays.
Yeah, and it's a much different voice than what he normally uses. So it took me a second to realize that was him.
Yeah, because
And
I was trying to think back like who was he in this season, and I guess the more like if you listen closely, yeah, Phil Lamar does a really great job like becoming this character.
yeah, and I just love when he's like, "Hello, kids, I'm going to teach you all about feudalism," and then sends out two of his knights to fight each other for the kids. And I mean, really, we've said a lot of our stuff back in the when we talked about the first half. Like, it's just a fun, quirky, absurd, low key show. That's just like you said, a good Sunday or weekend chill show to watch.
Yeah, this is one of those shows that I could pluck out like random episodes and watch at any time. It's I know continuity driven shows are on vogue over the past decade, but there's still room at the table for like a good classic episodic series like this one.
I guess people think like just because it's episodic, it means like there's not going to be substance to it. This show is just so misleading with how much substance there actually is. Like oh, what was the episode? Oh, what about Cool James? Like you think it's just about like, oh man, I want attention, and now this guy's taking all the attention away. And then it kind of hits a real hard note. That's just like, I know I need attention, but I also need to give everyone else attention in my family. And like, just good on this show for just like being called the Fungies and just dealing with human topics, even though there's nothing human about anyone in this show.
I think that's why this show works as well as it does, because like the world is unique enough that like the show can have its own identity, but it's the substance that Stephen Neary and his crew keeps nice and grounded. Like it's that combination that makes the show special, and eventually this will stand the test of time.
Yeah, and it, like I said, they just improve on everything that the first half did, and the first half was already good. Like, I man, there's just a whole lot. Like, I loved like the little sequence of the manager there. It's just like, well, just as long as we got enough food to feed the eels for a year, we'll be fine. And then it cuts to him being like, well, I'm disappointed. Bye. And then you find out, or like the Where's Coach at the end, where they're like, so how did you guys know I had so many kazoos? Oh, we rifled through your place and found them. Oh, is that all you found? Oh,
I love the way they end each episode on like a really like a really off kilter button.
yeah, very well. I love in Pam's runs forever, just Commander Beefy being Commander Beefy, the venture capitalist that he is. It's like, oh, I'm in debt because a few people got mutated by my new energy drink. Should I be the one to blame if nobody can read? It says like radioactive drink, and it says like, please don't drink right under it. And then he pours it on his insane jolt, and then he mutates. And he's like, "All right, the mutation." Like the poor guy just got mutated into a giant purple rock, and he's like, "Oh, right." Well, I have to say, I'm still working on my top 10, top 5 shows. I think the Fungies has now entered the top 5.
Yeah, I have to agree, because I had a lot of fun watching the second half of the season, and I hope there's more to this, because the show just has such a fun, laid back energy, but it's also not afraid to cut deep when the opportunity presents itself.
Oh gosh, yeah. Now just watch the show. I want to see more of this show, and I hope there's more. I know Close Enough got renewed, and we're still kind of hoping that Infinity Train gets renewed. But also like support the Fungies. Don't let it die out on the streaming service.
Yes, please give this one all your support.
Yeah, just watch it. I know a lot of people will probably dig this one. Just sit through it for a couple episodes and see how you feel then. But I bet I hope this one gets a huge following. It's just great. But I think it's time now to move on to the best cartoon of 2020.
Kipo and the Age of Wonderbeasts.
First off, it's super unfair that our favorite show of 2020, or at least new cartoon of 2020, had its entire run in 1 year.
That it almost never happens for a show that lasts more than one season.
Yeah, and it's like we've talked about in the past about DreamWorks's and Netflix's weird release strategy of like just doing a bunch of episodes and then chopping them up into multiple seasons that they release pretty frequently. Like maybe every few months they'll release like a new season of this and that. But Kipo had its entire 30 episode run. And yeah, I mean, I know we gushed about it the first time we talked about it, but we're going to keep gushing about it because it is just the best cartoon of 2020. And even if we only got the first or second or the first and second season of this year, it'd still probably be number one.
Yeah, I agree.
So just a quick catch up, like Kipo lives in this post-apocalyptic world full of giant mutants called mutes, and it searches for her father and ends up recruiting some friends like Wolf, Benson, and Dave, a talking bug, to at first stop a mandrill who has mind control powers named Scarlamange, voiced by Dan Stevens. But as the second season closed, Scarlamange is defeated, is arrested, but we have a new villain named Dr. Amelia, who wants to rid the world of mutes and quote unquote quote cure them. And she is voiced by Amy Landecker. So it's up to Kipo to unite the mutes to take down or find a way to stop Amelia. This was a good third season.
Yeah.
Just hands down, it progresses the story more. It gives us time to see more of the characters, expands on them. And since one of the things that we got to do was see Kipo's mom, who was the giant mega ape from sorry, spoilers ahead. Who was the mega ape from season 1 and 2, is actually cured. She gets to actually return to her human form. And another thing we get to see that I think was really fun was to see Scarlamange as a pseudo, maybe not trustworthy ally. But he ends up being probably one of the best additions to the main protagonists, just because it's interesting to see him he had all this power and then he's now rock bottom, but they don't kill him or let him get cured. They give him a lot of trust to be listen, I know you were kind of screwed over and you did a lot of bad things, but I know you're sorry. And at first you think he's not. And at first he's not. He wants to escape and reclaim his empire, but of course that doesn't happen. But we get to see a more, pardon the pun, human side to Scarlamange.
Scarlamange's redemption arc is not necessarily the best that I've seen, but it works. It works for his character, and it works that Kipo specifically is the one who helps him along on his journey, because it's Kipo's parents who raised him until Dr. Amelia started screwing things up, which kind of causes Hugo to turn evil.
Yeah, and this show this final episode season gets dark. Like, while you don't see a whole lot of death, the cure, even in just in that world context, is scary because, and we'll be talking about spoilers here on out. So if you haven't seen the third season, like, pause this episode and watch it right now. And because we're going to talk about some spoiler bits. Our favorite Lumbercat leader, Yum Yan Hammerpaw, doesn't make it. I think that was the first real like identity of like the threat of Amelia and the cure. Yep. Was that they took down the mighty and powerful Yum Yan Hammerpaw.
That's when you know that Dr. Amelia means business.
Yeah, and it was really sad. Like, I'm not gonna say I cried, but I was really bummed out that he didn't make it, or there was like no vaccination and whatnot for him to turn back into a mute. And that happens to a lot of people. Unfortunately, Bad Billions, who was voiced by GZA, gets cured. Well, cured in the worst way possible by turning back into a wolf. The snake voiced by Joan Jett, Camille, gets cured. Like, it gets intense. And another little story beat I like they walked back to was the one for Wolf and her adopted sister.
Yeah, that was an interesting episode. I had a feeling it was going to end in, it was going to have a not happy ending, because it's just kind of par for the course with Wolf that somehow it's going to end in betrayal.
Yeah, no, I just like that they turned back to it, and then I felt so bad for what happens to her and her brother. They basically get Shang Tsung. Who was the villain in Mulan, the animated one? What was this, like Shang Tsung?
Something like that, yeah.
Like when that scene where he lets the Imperial soldiers go, and he's just like, how many soldiers does it take to deliver a message? And then you see his henchmen go, 1. So he killed one of them. I got that same feeling here, because like you could tell one or both the wolf girl and her brother were going to get turned back into wolves, and that's what happens. Golly. And there are a few things I forgot to mention last time that I wanted to bring up. Can I just to bring some relief to the sadness of people being cured in the most twisted way possible? Can I just say how great the theaters were?
Yes.
So from the second season, we were introduced to a traveling group of musicians and theater people, otters, known as the Theatas, with their leader Puck, voiced by John Lavelle. And they go around in the third season hoping to get everyone. And I just love the whole like rock opera sound of their like performances. And oh man, I just love those little characters. And I love the goat sisters, the ones who tell the future.
The cheese.
Yeah. Yeah. They tell the world and the future through cheese. And their chant is just full of just different kinds of cheese. Like, I just love this world that they built. It's so different from most post-apocalyptic worlds that they make. And
yeah, it's a kind of rainbow colored, and I mean that in every sense of the word, like post-apocalyptic world.
And I kind of wanted, well, and of course we can't talk about this without bringing up the K-pop narwhals, which that's just funny. I just thought that combination was hilarious. And even though Kipo's friend just keeps calling them dolphin unicorns. I mean, that's
are they voiced by BTS?
I'm not sure. I couldn't catch their voice actors, but I would not be shocked if that was the case. We might have to look that up and then like talk about it at a later date. But I wouldn't be shocked. And man, I mean, like, what were your favorite things about this season? Like, what did you like?
I liked the episode Requiem for a Dave, where Kipo is on a mission to stop Dr. Amelia and sink the boat, but everyone agrees that's a bad idea. So to drive this message home, Dave goes on a ridiculously long diatribe about the war between the humans and the mutes over a fan.
Yeah.
But first of all, because it's Dave, I love how ridiculous the whole story is. How literally their war is over a fan.
Yeah.
But I think the sweet thing about it is that the story ends with Dave meeting Benson.
Yeah. Yeah, it's their first meeting, and then it's just like when they both end up falling into their own net traps, and it's just like Dave finds out that Benson's the last of the quote unquote fanatics. And I love the little punchline of like you find out that the humans that chased after them were the ancestors of the ones that encountered Dave long ago.
Yep.
Because Dave is supposedly immortal, even though there is a way to kill him, but they don't say it. They cut off like right before he's about to reveal what you have to do. And this show just knows how to balance laughs, action, story, and like soul. And it's just so good. And at first I was kind of put off by the art style, but now it's like I love how the show looks, and it doesn't stop with the third season. And I guess let's talk about Dr. Amelia. Basically, I want to use eugenics to wipe out a race of people I don't like. So, yikes on that front. Because
big yikes.
Yeah, because that's what happens when a mute is shot with one of her cure darts. Except for Kipo, because Kipo was part of the reason, the mixture to make the cure. They turn back into normal animals. Apparently, they know enough of who like the other mutes are, and like they take a very dark turn with Amelia. They branch her out enough for her to be a complex villain, but just enough to not feel bad when what happens with her, because you do find out that like she, because of her dad, she's so hell-bent on bringing the humans back on top. And when she goes up there with her, I think, brother.
Yeah, that's her brother.
And the brother ends up going to the rat world, which I still want to go to that place. I would love to go to the rat world. And he finds out, and she tells her, like, the mutes aren't all bad up here. Like, we should just tell everyone that. She ends up killing him off screen, but of course she spins it like, "Oh my gosh, the mutes killed my brother."
I think that's the part of that episode where I immediately stopped feeling sorry for her, because at first I thought like Amelia and her brother were we're gonna be faced with like some traumatizing experience, but literally she's the one who kills her brother in almost a similar fashion to like Simon killing Tuba. because like he's so like he's gone too far into his belief that like nothing can change his mind.
Mm-hmm. It's really dark, and it is like full stop. She's there's no redeeming her. And the fact that she's just like so like just rude and terrible to the humans that are trying to help her. Like Zane, who ends up befriending one of the workout raccoons. And by the way, Zane is voiced by Carlos Alazraqui, who you might know as Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life. And
and Mr. Crocker from Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, and you would also know him on like Reno 911, and he's such a cool guy. And he was like the lead for Ricochet in the first season of Mucha Lucha. This guy is everywhere. I love him. And like he says like they're not bad, just chill. Like maybe we could just work on something. And then I thought she was going to shoot him, like to be frank, because he ends up getting captured and then befriends the mutes. And it's kind of interesting to show just like how hate breeds hate, because it's like the ones who stay hateful are like Dr. Amelia and her henchman Greta, who is also kind of a delight with some of the funnier lines. Like I love when they capture Greta and then she's like, "You may have caught me, but I'm no dummy. You may know our plans, but I'm no dummy." And then Scarlet Mage is like, "Oh, there she goes again. There she goes back to being dumb." And I will say, like, just out of the characters that we see in season 3, I'm a little disappointed that Jamak gets kind of the back seat out of the mutes, because I remember we talked about him and he was like actually one of the more complex elements of the show.
Yeah, it's here's the thing. Yes, it's disappointing that we didn't get to see as much Jamak, but between him and Scarlemagne, it's I don't know if it's a complete if it's completely a fair trade-off, but if we didn't get to see more Scarlemagne, then not seeing more Jamak would have been a bigger deal.
I just love that he joins the theaters.
Yeah, that's something that I really liked.
And then in the end, he turns into like a taxi driver or a bus driver. And I mean, we'll talk about the ending in a little bit, because I just love the ending. Like on the same level as like Japan Sinks, with its ending. But yeah, and the action is still really good and amusing, and I like that they pair different characters up together. Like I like seeing Dave and Kipo's father.
Yeah, seeing Dave and Leo partying all night is something I didn't even know I wanted.
And I love that you find out that the way the Timbercats do a high five is they hold up their axe. And luckily, something that we kind of complained about with the second season, we got to see Troy with Benson a little more. And while it's still kind of played in the background, they do show them more as a couple, which I liked. Because I thought that that was kind of one of the things from season 2 that I was kind of disappointed by.
Yeah, we didn't see enough of Troy, but this time he's like helping him on their adventures. He can pick locks. He can can be there for emotional support.
Yeah, which is kind of a shame, since the 2 other girls that you meet Troy with, Asher and Dahlia, they kind of take a backseat too, which I was a little disappointed by. Because like I said, I love Asher, who's voiced by Rhea Butcher, who I just think is very funny. And but it's just like, man, the show is so good, and just how it deals with like discrimination and just like dealing with tough situations. Since we do get the return of our favorite water bear, what's his name? Oh yeah, Todd Mulholland, who is, by the way, voiced by Michael Leon Woodley, who you might know as the alligator from Princess and the Frog. And
oh wow,
yeah,
I didn't realize that until I started listening to his voice more. But yeah,
no, he's great, and I love that I love his little gimmick of like pushing himself back up someone's nose to get his hat, even though he's a being made of pure water. And by the way, also Betsy Sodaro, who's in Glitch Tech in Duncanville, is Label, the jazzercising raccoon. She's great, and I just love her interaction with Zane. And I mean, do you have any other favorite like character dynamics that you've seen?
I like I like the relationship between Doug and the K-pop narwhals.
I'm still not getting over that. And
Right?
it's just such a funny combination. And I loved when we got to see the Billion Wolves again. And you see when you get to see bad Billions spinning around, and then you see good Billions be like, he thinks there's dark matter in these moon rocks, even though he's just kind of mad and kind of annoyed with him. And I love when they encounter the humming bombers.
Oh yeah.
Who are sad about their cohort who got captured, and they're just like, man, just let us be, but with us throwing our bombs into the forest.
I love the running gag in I think it was like either episode 2 or episode 3 where it's like, we need to rescue our friends, and boom boom.
Yeah. It's like, we gotta get everyone out of there. And boom boom. And boom boom. Oh, and we had to say like just how terrible of a person Dr. Amelia was. I guess we'll like talk now about the finale. She's a raging hypocrite because she finds out that her cure is not going to work on Kipo, and she knows that like they're not going to be able to make as much of the cure. So she ends up taking down a two-headed walrus mute and ends up injecting herself with the mutagen, turning herself into a mute to try and take down Kipo. Which, you know, she's a terrible person. Of course she won't stand by her crooked rules and ways.
Plus, they need to have a final battle, and this was the vessel to do so.
Yeah, no, it was a good final fight. Very intense, and I love that everyone came together, because in this world, in the world we live in right now, we all need to work together to stop everything. And like I love the inner like workings of like when you're a mute inside of like, or like a human inside their mute body, where it's like you have to have an anchor or else you won't come back. I just thought that was a very cool visualization of them like in a water that gets like a pool that gets like deeper and deeper the more you lose yourself. And this show just the visual aesthetic of the show it's just great. And we also get to see the return. Well, I'll talk about this little detail after we finish up the finale. What did you think of the final fate of Dr. Amelia?
It's fitting.
Yeah. Like, so what happened? Go ahead.
Okay. So what happens is after the battle, like, and after she gets cured, she ends up getting trapped by the fungus.
Yeah, the
who wants to be her best friend forever.
Yeah, that's twisted. I mean, it's not as graphic as Simon in Infinity Train turning to dust, but there's a worse fate than being controlled by a mind control fungus. And you don't see her in the end. They don't cut back to her later on in the finale.
Yeah, she just gets absorbed, and that's the end.
Yeah. Really dark, but I love it. It's, man, it's like, I know, again, like, I know like Avatar kept the villain alive at the end, but he still had a really righteous punishment happen to him with his bending getting taken from him. You know, it's like, it's okay to like really defang or downright kill your villain. Like, especially if they're not going to be, there's no like area of no return for them as humans and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, I think depowering them is actually kind of a more effective punishment than death, because killing your villains in a series finale when you know there's no return, like death for some people is considered like a release. So being kept alive is in storytelling, it's sort of the symbolic representation of like you've done some bad shit and now you have to live with your mistakes.
Yeah. No, and I really love the ending where they time travel, like they fast forward through into the future where everything is just great. And first off, I love Kipo's older design, like not her like old design, but like when she's older. I mean,
Yeah, her like her future look is amazing.
yeah, she looks like a punk rock uh, individual, and I just love that she's like you don't know who she's talking to, and you find out that like in the final battle, Scarlemage sacrifices himself. Maybe not the best like sacrifice, like final blow and whatnot, but it was super touching to finally to see him get a statue, even though he was no longer with them and such. I just love that whole ending and the music that plays with it and whatnot. Just the whole mix of just like everyone's living together, the world is rebuilding itself. It reminds me, like I said, it reminds me a lot of Japan Sinks. Like in that regards, it's like no matter how bad things get, we can rebuild it. We can make the world better if we just, don't repeat what we've done in the past and whatnot.
Yeah, I love when post-apocalyptic movies or TV shows end on a happy note, on an optimistic note like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with ending on a cynical or darker note, but for a show like this, I was glad it had a happier ending than what happens in
Because
most.
this was already an upbeat take on the genre, so it makes sense to have an upbeat ending.
Yeah, and I guess like I don't really have that many complaints or like any real issues outside of like not seeing enough of certain side characters, and not just like Jamak, but like I said, the two girls. I loved seeing the treasure squirrels. I was kind of hoping we'd see a few more mutes, but I know this was only going to be a 30 episode long show, so they did what they could. I just love the world. I wouldn't mind if they were given the opportunity to make more episodes, like with maybe a side, like taking place in a different part of the world that Kipo lives in. Would you be down for that, or do you think the 30 episodes they have is good enough?
I think for the story that they told, this 30 episode run is like perfect for what it is. That being said, if they either make a spin-off or like even like an anthology series like that like fills in the 5-year gap or something, just as an excuse to tell more stories, I'd be okay with that. I like because that's really my only complaint. Like I love it the way it is, but I also want more because I love it.
Yeah, same here. And do you have a favorite moment from this season?
Um, uh, besides the Requiem for a Dave episode, it's little moments like all like the children of all the mutes like playing with each other and getting along, and how that even ties into Scarlemagne's redemption, because you see when you see Scarlemagne kind of playing with the kids,
Mhm.
that's when it becomes clear. Okay, so he can be redeemed.
It's just because he lost his mistrust and such. He wasn't a Amelia. He was just a being who was abused through science and wanted to get back at the humans for the abuse. And it's like he's such a great villain, or I guess anti-hero now, I guess. Or how would you describe him now that we've seen the whole series? Is he a full-on villain still, or is he just like a
no, he's in season 3 he's an anti-hero for sure.
Yeah. And
although I'll say this, I think Dr. Amelia, because she's less redeemable, I also think just maybe it's not fair because she only really got like the one season to really be the villain, but I just think Scarlemagne was more interesting and had the more compelling backstory.
Yeah, no, it's Amelia just gets the like kind of racism angle of just like she was brought up by a very hateful individual, her aka her dad, and just she like Simon from Infinity Train, she got stuck in her ways. But yeah, no, she's not as complex of a character as Scarlemagne. But I do love Scarlemagne's arc, and I love like the little sequences, like when he gets fed, like he gets kind of annoyed that they keep serving him pancakes. And he's like, "You live in a forest, bugs, fruits, something else." And then when they take down those big mutated crabs, he's just like, "I don't like seafood. The smell gets to me." And especially if you've been to a theater that serves seafood, like kind of like an Alamo Draft House or whatnot, the seafood dishes always stink up the theater room. It's not pleasant. Even though they can be good. But I would say my favorite scene is the sequence where they have to deal with the dubstep bees.
Oh yeah, and you see like the dance sequence.
Yeah, it was just such a wholesome sequence, and seeing Kipo's family work together to make sure Kipo doesn't dance to death.
I think that was a great sequence for song because she's spent 13 years as the Mega Monkey, so she has to kind of like readjust to being a human. So giving her this moment to shine is really important.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they gave her more to do instead of just putting her in the background after curing her. But yeah, if anybody's curious about that song, it's actually a song called Sugar by My Bad and Sam Gray. It's on iTunes. I actually downloaded the song today and I listened to it while I was at work, like, I don't know, 10 times. It just put me in a good mood. But man, Kipo and the Age of Wonderbeasts, there's not going to be a show that's going to top it this year. Of course, again, like we said, it's just jokingly, it's not fair that it got to do its entire run in 1 year. But I just don't think there's been a more perfect show. Like, even with the gripes and nitpicks aside.
Yeah. I think like in terms of like ranking each like individual season, this kind of reminds me of How to Train Your Dragon, where three is not quite as good as 1 and 2, but all 3 of them together are kind of the perfect trilogy.
Yeah, DreamWorks is good at that.
Yeah, they are, and that's how I feel about this series. I think season 2 is it's the better one of the 3, but season 3 has a terrific ending, like that wraps up the entire series.
Mm-hmm. No, and at least Kipo got to end on a high note. We don't know what's going to happen with Infinity Train or Glitch Checks or Venture Brothers. So at least Kipo got to end like as it wanted to. And at least if, like, since we're comparing it to How to Train Your Dragon in terms of the sequel ranking, at least the third season of Kipo doesn't have super obnoxious side characters like the other dragon writers, like How to Train Your Dragon 3's third movie, because they just did not know what to do with those side characters. But here, all these characters never felt out of place. They knew they had their story purposes, and even though I would have loved to have seen more of some of them, even like some of the ones like the blonde girl's dad, who's voiced by Jeff Bennett, Hogue, has his one redeeming moment when he tells everyone at the party that like the fireworks are full of cure medicine. And it's just a perfect show, man. I don't know what else I can say. I hope this show racks up as many awards as possible at the Annies next year.
Same.
Like, and if we're just and we're just going off of new shows. It probably
so like, because we're only talking about new shows, like Cameron and I both love Infinity Train book 3, but because even though that series is like an anthology, the stories do have a connective tissue, and since Infinity Train began in 2018,
18 or 19, I forgot.
Right, but point is, because the series didn't begin in 2020, we can't include it on our list.
But even if we could, it would probably struggle. Like I'd probably give it a tie between the two so far this year. Like if we're counting old and new shows, I think they both have been the best, like in terms of animated shows.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, no, just watch Kipo. The whole series is 30 episodes. It's got a bit of everything for everyone, and just like the Fungies and such. It's just I would just tell everyone who hasn't seen it to watch it. Even people who aren't into animation, just who want a good, fun action adventure story with complex characters. You can't go wrong with Kipo.
Yeah, this gets my highest recommendation.
Yeah, same here.
Now speaking of recommendations, I'm coming a little bit unprepared but a couple that I have just off the top of my head, because I brought up How to Train Your Dragon. On Peacock, you have like the first 2 seasons of the animated series. You have Riders of Berk and Defenders of Berk, and on Netflix is like the rest of the show, which is titled Dragons Race to the Edge.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like a completionist and want to watch all of DreamWorks animated series, go check out that one, because I think it's one of their best film adaptations. And also, I bring this up because my Fresh Takes co-host Brock Emmerich and I are covering Gurren Lagann. You should watch Gurren Lagann, because as far as mech animes go, this has pretty much everything you could ever want. And as a little bit of a tease, one of our next series that we'll be covering is Neon Genesis Evangelion.
That's going to be very fascinating. I might join in on that one. And well, especially like you've never seen it before, right?
I've seen it, like I've seen bits and pieces, and I've been a little bit turned off by Neon Genesis because it comes off a little pretentious for the genre. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I need to give it a more fair shake, which is why we decided to cover this next after Gurren Lagann.
Well, you're tackling
and because of how much I've taken a liking to Studio Trigger, I want to go back and revisit some of the Gainax shows.
Gainax.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's you're basically looking at two of the most iconic shows that they made. The one that kind of made them stand out, and then the one that was like their last hurrah before Gainax basically fizzled and Studio Trigger was born from those ashes.
Yep.
And yeah, there's definitely a lot of baggage with talking about Evangelion, not just the themes and the story, though there's a lot. But it's just the fandom, the impact it had on anime, and the sort of maybe hipstery backlash that has a lot of justified reasons for people to not like Evangelion. There's just a lot to it. It's pretty good to go in with fresh eyes on this one, and
and I've heard so many things about the Netflix dub that I'm curious to get to the bottom of what exactly people are complaining about.
Oh, there's definitely some things from the dub and the subtitle fixes that I've seen that are a little like, okay, that's not great, just because it's erasure for one character's sexuality towards another, but I'll let that be. No, there's just a lot to do it. I can't wait for you to dive into that, because at least it has some of the most unique mech out there with the Avas. And I guess for my recommendation, I'm going to try to stick with spooky monster themed shows. So like last week, I talked about Moriarty, the Patriot, and Talentless Nana, which I'm going to be super excited to hear what you think about them when we talk about the anime season.
Yeah, Talentless Nana is the one that you've been hyping up the most, and I can't wait to dive into that one.
Oh gosh, I can't wait to hear your reactions, and I'm sure you're probably going to be sending me many WTF bro moments, because that show is full of them. So I'm going to talk about one that's on Crunchyroll that you can watch through Crunchyroll or through Verve, called Jujutsu Kaisen, which is the new shonen battle anime, but with a supernatural twist. It's kind of like a new generation Yu Yu Hakusho in a way, because it deals with curses and spirits and demons.
Oh, see, now you have my attention.
Yeah, and it's by the director of the summer 2020 polarizing show, The God of High School. So the action's going to be great. And so far with the 3 episodes I've seen, it's full of great characters, fun action, and it definitely gives itself a fresh identity among the other shonen anime that are out these days. And this includes like Yashahime, which is a lot of fun, but I'm not going to recommend that one today. But yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen has this cool, creepy, eerie, supernatural mix. And it's also a good sign when the main female character, who is like a hard-edged, like no nonsense character, basically upsets all the obnoxious male anime fans who are just like, I don't like how like strong-willed she is. And it's just like, okay, we weeded out the bad eggs. So but seriously, it's such a fun show, and it has probably one of the best endings to any anime this season. And I also downloaded that song, and I've listened to it hundreds of times since then. But yeah, watch Jujutsu Kaisen, watch Talentless Nana, and watch Moriarty the Patriot. Yeah. So that's it for me.
All right. Well, this was a fun episode. I'm glad we got to go back and revisit some of our other favorite shows that we talked about earlier this year.
Yeah, no, it was just fun to go back to what are essentially 3 of our favorite shows. Even if we didn't give too much time to Dorohedoro, there just wasn't much there anyway. But I loved seeing the Fungies and the finale for Kipo. So yeah, this was a great episode.
Yeah, I'm glad we did this one. Now, before we go, Cameron, where can everyone find you online?
You can find me on Twitter through twitter.com/CamsEyeView or just, at CamsEyeView. You can find me on the Renegade Pop Culture Facebook group. I'll be posting animation related stuff for Tooned Up from time to time. And I run my own website called camseyeview.biz, where I review animated films titled The Other Side of Animation. I also have a Patreon at patreon.com/camseyeview if you like my work and like to support me. Though I'll be trying to set up like a one-off payment thing, like donation things, like through PayPal and that coffee service, just for people who can't commit to Patreon rules and whatnot. And you can just find me in some of the other Facebook groups, mostly the Dissolve, and then some of its subsequent subgroups. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Captain K42. Check out all my quick thought reviews on letterboxd.com/Coach K42. And then find me in all the various Facebook groups at my name. You can find the Facebook group for Renegade Pop Culture, our Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. Check out all our podcasts at Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen. And last but not least, don't forget to check out renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we. That'll do it for this episode of Tooned Up. We will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Bye.